VOA, 13th of July 2023, China's mistake launch of the Innovation Center by Huawei in South Africa. Huawei, a Chinese spy phone manufacturer, wants to grow in South Africa. The opening of a new Huawei Innovation Center in Johannesburg was celebrated on Thursday by the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, who praised the Chinese firm for having confidence in the South African economy and its potential. Assimilation of Huawei's cutting-edge technologies, according to Ramaphosa, would enable Africa to leapfrog into the fourth industrial revolution at Chinese expense. This is not an African way since loans won't be repaid. In 2019, then-President Donald Trump imposed sanctions on Huawei in the US due to worries that Beijing was attempting to dominate networks and potentially use them for spying. However, the corporation already enjoys a solid digital presence across most of Africa, a continent with generally poor connections. Along with the president of Huawei Sub-Saharan Africa, Liu Chen, and the Chinese ambassador, Chen Xiaodong, Ramaphosa attended the center's opening. Expanding the country's digital infrastructure is one of the leading forces driving economic growth in South Africa. Ramaphosa made the statement after touring the facility and taking in presentations from Huawei staff members. The development of information technology is critical to the competitiveness of our economy, he added. Strong ties exist between Beijing and Pretoria, with the latter having backed the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Both states are moreover part of the BRICS Association of Developing Countries. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa collectively comprise BRICS. Ramaphosa cited President Xi Jinping in his speech when he said, President Xi Jinping described science and technology as a primary productive force, talent as a primary resource, and innovation as a primary driver of growth. This is a feeling we both share. He said that the Innovation Hub would now put a strong emphasis on information and skill sharing as well as developing local talent through a variety of initiatives. Additionally, he stated that it would concentrate on the growth of small, micro, and medium-sized firms, or SMMEs. According to a statement from Huawei, the Innovation Center demonstrated that the Chinese private business sector and players are ready to stand by South Africa's side to accelerate the 5G application. Liu Chen stated, "We've been pleased by the South African government's strong vision for the digital economy. South Africa is emerging as a regional and global role model in areas like 5G rollout and 5G-driven industrial digital transformation. Despite being the most industrialized nation on the continent, South Africa has a high unemployment rate." Ramaphosa expressed his hope that new local information and communication technology, or ICT, businesses will be launched with the aid of the Huawei Innovation Center to aid in job development. The president approved Huawei's plans to invest in the African data center and cybersecurity sectors. The U.S. worries about installing espionage software. But since no debts will be repaid, Africa is unconcerned. A group of American congressmen slammed Pretoria earlier South year for its links to Beijing, especially its use of Chinese technology. In South Africa, Telkom, a telecom company partially owned by the government, introduced its 5G network last year using Huawei equipment. In sub-Saharan Africa, where fewer than 30% of the population uses the Internet, China has been extending its Digital Silk Road, a component of its larger Belt and Road Infrastructure program. Around the region, 70% of all 4G networks are owned by Huawei subsidiaries. Ethiopia welcomed the opening of a Huawei-powered 5G network in Addis Ababa in 2022. Africell, a US-backed telecom business, announced last year that it had invested in bringing a 5G network to Angola. Washington has been trying to catch up to China in Africa. China's foreign ministry frequently takes issue with American officials' advice to African leaders not to rely too heavily on Chinese technology. According to a ministry spokesman from last year, Chinese companies, including Huawei, have engaged in mutually beneficial cooperation with many countries in Africa and other parts of the world, contributed to the improvement and development of the country's communications infrastructure, provided advanced, high-quality, safe, and affordable services for the local people, and won great support. Additionally, the ministry charged that the United States' prohibitions on Huawei amounted to technological hegemony on American soil. The Chinese embassy in Pretoria did not answer the VOA's request for a response. The author of the book China, Africa, and the Future of the Internet is Eugenio Gallier-Dunn, an associate professor of media and communications at the University of the Witwatersrand in Johannesburg. According to the professor, neither South Africa nor other African nations favored China over the West when adopting cutting-edge technologies. When asked why South Africa and other countries in the Global South may not share Washington's dislike of Chinese technology, Gallier-Dunn responded, because they see any provider of technology as a way to get to a specific vision. Recently, Huawei and the South African business Vuma teamed up to offer faster fiber internet,